I'm really excited to be here, but also really, really, really nervous. Now, it's not because I'm speaking in front of people, but it's because I'm about to tell you a story that less than 5 people outside of my immediate family know. So this story, unfortunately, is not going to have flying unicorns or a frog prince or even zombies. And last night we got into an interesting conversation on which is cooler now, zombies or vampires. And apparently zombies won, so I kept them in the slide. But it is going to be about me and some of the ideas I have on life right now. So start off, I want to ask you a question. So who can tell me what these 3 people have in common? And for those in the back that can't see, it's Richard Branson, F. Scott Fitzgerald, and Whoopi Goldberg. They're all adjectives. It's hard for me to see you guys, so just throw them out, yell them out.
Kind of the center part.
Okay. There you go. Similar center part hairstyles. I wasn't expecting that one. That was very observant. I love it. Wow. Okay. She actually got it. So that was very surprising. So thank you. So, you know, a lot of you might be thinking these people are famous, they're creative, they're influential. But like them and me, we all have a handicap. And it's not a handicap that requires a wheelchair or a seeing eye dog, but it is one that causes connections in our brain to miss and for us to make seemingly stupid mistakes. And so specifically, I have a form of dyslexia called dysgraphia. And what dysgraphia means comes from the Greek, meaning dys, impaired, and graphia, making letter forms by hand. So you might be asking, okay, so what? Well, you know, I'm the first woman in my family to graduate college. I was a published author in USA Today by age 19, and I've spent the last 12 years of my career writing and being in communications. So you may be asking, like, how did I do this? Well, it definitely wasn't easy. So I'm going to flash back to childhood, because unlike Ramit, I did have a sort of catalyst moment as a kid. But this was me as a kid. I grew up in, this isn't actually me as a kid, but growing up in the Midwest, St. Louis, Missouri, are you from the Midwest? All right, Midwest, woohoo! And you're from St. Louis too? How about our cards, man? They're doing great. So growing up in St. Louis, the last thing I wanted to be was special. So most of my life, I was a pretty average kid. I was a sassy big sister, point guard on the basketball team, and I even played Peppermint Patty in You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown in 8th grade. It's my claim to fame. Sorry, Skylar, I think you take the cake on the acting in this room. So what wasn't normal, though, outside of those hours of 8 to 3, I was a freak. I was a tiny mini workaholic. I woke up at the same time Ramit was going to bed every day at 4 a.m. And I was the first one up in my family, and I would study and study and study and study before I would go to school. I would go to school, do my after-school activities. My parents would tuck me in at night. They'd turn off the light. And that's when I would have a tiny little red flashlight that I kept next to my bed. And I'd go under my covers, and I would continue to read and study. This behavior of basically being obsessed with work and school and grades only got worse when I entered a really competitive all-girl high school. And then I had a moment that changed my life. It was an English class, and I had an amazing English teacher, Miss Bueller, and typical vocabulary quiz. And she pulled me out in the hall, and she said, Miss Walsh, because I went to, again, all-girl private Catholic school, so they were very formal. Miss Walsh, how did you study for this test? And I started to sweat, and my heart started racing, and I thought, oh no, she thinks I cheated. I failed this test, something is horrible. So I proceeded to tell her, well, I did the standard flashcard methodology, right? Definition on one side, word on the other, studied them for about 15, 20 minutes until I got the words. Then I spent the next 3 hours writing the words over and over and over again so that I could learn their spelling. Obviously, this was a red flag for her. So she got me tested, helped me figure out exactly some coping mechanisms and some skills that I could use to sort of get through day to day. She also helped me when we had to tell my parents, and she had to explain to them that this wasn't a learning disability, this was a learning difference. And she helped me realize that everything was going to be okay, that this wasn't a deal breaker for me, that I had gotten so far in life by working hard, and that everybody has problems, everybody has issues, everybody has things they have to overcome, and this is just one of those things for me. So fast forward a few years, and I became obsessed with technology. I was 17, working a couple jobs and applying for scholarships so that I could save up to buy my very first computer. With that machine, it changed my life. Spell check really did become my best friend. It enabled me to go into a really writing-intensive public relations degree. By the time I graduated, I was a ghostwriter for a state senator, the mayor of Houston, and major corporations like Allstate and HP. And my love for technology only continued to grow. In 2006, I became obsessed with social technologies and what they could do and the connections they could make. So I started the community and social media program at a billion-dollar company. I now run community and social for a company called Jive software out of Silicon Valley that makes enterprise social networks. And I live in an amazing tech town, Austin, Texas. So to say I like tech is definitely an understatement. So I know what you're all thinking. Yay, happy ending. She's got a good job, she overcame adversity. And while parts of that are true, it's still a struggle for me. Anytime someone at work asks me to get on a whiteboard or to read something out loud, I turn into that high school kid. I turn into that kid whose hands start sweating, heart starts racing. And when I found out about Catalyst Week, I really thought this is an opportunity to stand up and be okay with this issue and to really think about what are the things in my life that I'm trying to live and how am I trying to live them. So I wrote down 5 key lessons that I've come up with that I'm really trying to live my life by. So the first one is embrace your useful uniqueness. Now, when I was that high school kid, I thought being unique meant things like dyeing your hair green, getting an eyebrow ring, all of which I did. But then I realized it's more than just being unique and being special. It's about what are those useful, unique things that you have. And although dyslexia causes some problems, it's also a really good thing. It causes me to look at things differently. It causes me to solve problems in a different way than other people, and that's a benefit. Also, as a social media manager, I consult huge brands on social strategy. And every once in a while, they'll make a mistake on Twitter or post something inappropriate on Facebook or come into some crisis. And I say, it's not about being perfect. It's about how you address that imperfection and how you handle it. That's what will become part of your brand. That's what people will know and recognize about you. The second is commit to the projects and people that matter. So I want to take one moment. She doesn't know I'm doing this. I haven't actually practiced for her. Emily Kopp, can you stand up? I'm going to put her on the spot. So Emily Kopp actually taught me this lesson. She started off as my business partner and then became my life partner. And one of the first things that she taught me was it's better to do a few things really, really well than to do a lot of things crappy. Basically. And so with that, it's helped me pick the projects and the people that really matter. It's also enabled me to say no, right? To learn that it's okay to say no to that project at work. It's okay not to take on that extra third happy hour of the week, right? And so I just wanted to thank you for that. Okay, third is aim for work-life integration. So it's kind of a theme for tonight I'm seeing. So there's no such thing as work-life balance anymore, right? There's none of this 50-50, especially with technology. And that kid that used to read under the covers at night turned into an adult that couldn't fall asleep without their phone like this or their computer screen on their lap, right? And what I started to realize is it's all about how to appropriately integrate these things into your life, and so that you have not necessarily balance, but a good integration between professional and personal. Number 4 is to celebrate the small successes. So like many people in this room, I'm goal-oriented. I might even be a little bit goal-obsessed. And I actually have a list of daily, weekly, monthly, year and lifetime professional and personal goals. And what I started to realize is sometimes it's just as important to reward yourself for actually making it to the gym after a really crappy long day at work as it is if you got a raise that day, right? So I really start to find small successes and reward myself and feel good about those on a daily basis. Finally, and this is the scary little monster, is finding validation in yourself. In a culture that gives everybody gold stars and everybody wants pats on the back from their boss, everybody wants a new online badge for a game that they're playing, right? What I've started to realize is all of that is great, but it's most important to feel proud of who you are and what you've done. So this is my moment to tell you that right now I'm really proud of who I am. I'm proud of the person that I want to become. I'm proud of the positive network that I've surrounded myself with. And honestly, I'm proud that I had the courage to come up and tell a story in front of basically a room full of strangers and video, hi Mom and Dad, that I've never shared before. And if anything, I just hope you walk away with knowing that everybody has things that they're trying to overcome, and you're not alone in doing them. So thank you.